Hi, everyone. I'm immigration lawyer John Khosravi. Thank you for joining us today, May 19th, Wednesday, 5 p.m. Pacific time in the West Coast, during our regular 5 p.m. Pacific Q&A, where you come with your general immigration questions, and I try to answer them to the best of my ability. General education kind of stuff, nothing specific, but really to help you get an update of what's going on, because the U.S. immigration system, as you all know, has a lot of problems going on. So, and a lot of it is the unknowns. And even on my end, every day I'm trying to find answers for things that are not clear or that change constantly. So I'll have this, this half hour to maybe 40 minutes today here to help you out to see if I can answer some of your questions. And with that, let's get started. Do fiance visas get low approval rate each year? I had someone in consultation really worried about that, saying, oh, the approval rate's high or low. You got to keep in mind, a lot of people file these cases on their own. They don't know what they're doing, so they get denied for really ridiculous reasons. Generally, all cases have a really high chance of success if it's a real case. I'm not really worried about someone approval rate being low or high. If the case is real, vast majority of time, they're going to be approved. So that shouldn't, the rates as such shouldn't be a worry. Just putting together a good case and having good help is what you should pay attention to. Nuruddin asks, is I-751 interview and citizenship interview done together during this pandemic period? Well, if your I-751 removal of conditions, this is when you have a green card that's only 2 years old, is taking so long that you can file for U.S. citizenship, that sometimes they will do both interviews at the same time, or potentially your I-751 will just be approved with that interview. It just depends on how long things take. It could vary a lot. Vanessa Waters asks, can an I-20 be valid if you're not in school? Well, I-20 is the form they give you when you have a student visa that shows you're enrolled and you're part of student visa status, or you're going to get student visa through it or keep it. If you're not going to school, if you're violating your student visa status, the school will delete your record in the CVIS record. That's an online system they have with ICE. So essentially, I-20 becomes invalidated by the school because you're breaking the student visa rules. So, if you're not going to school, you're not doing anything right, by the way your student visa is supposed to happen, you're going to have problems. You shouldn't do that. Vanessa asks, do you think they'll still be better to apply for a green card for a person overseas or wait the pandemic? If you want to start a case, you should start a case. So don't wait for the pandemic. There's so much stuff that has to be done before an interview needs to be scheduled, and the pandemic's affecting that's not important. You usually need to submit I-130. That might take 3, 8, 10 months, a year and a half, who knows? So get the ball rolling, but I can't give you individual legal advice. I know your case. It might be you're one of the 1 in a million cases that should wait. I don't know, because I don't know enough about your case. Makash now says, can a green card be denied if you're owing IRS or not filing 2020 tax return? They don't usually deny you for that, but you can't be denied for bad moral character, lacking good moral character, if they want to, if they get into that. Usually you don't pay attention to that, but it is possible. So if you're asking, is it possible? Yeah, it is, but they don't usually get into that, but you should pay that. It's going to be a problem for citizenship if you don't. Zizi Akifag says, what if the foreign fiance is pregnant? Does it the K-1 visa? Does it hurt or something? No, actually, I just have a case right now. They were pregnant. We got the K-1 visa. The woman had the child. We got the child a passport, and they had their interview. This was in Northern Europe, and they're here right now. Came 2 weeks ago. They're about to get married and filing for adjustment of status. So the pregnancy, is not necessarily a problem. I got to review the case individually, but I don't see why it would be. Dr. Alexis asks, is there a way to expedite a biometrics for J1 to an F1? If there's an urgent need, you could try calling in and making an expedite request for biometrics. You gotta have a good need. It's hard. Just switching from a J to an F is going to be really problematic. You should definitely talk with a lawyer about that. I don't accept change of status to F1 cases, but you gotta think about that. King Moose asks, what's the news on visa interviews? Well, unfortunately, this bad news. Everything is postponed. Very few of them are happening. And actually, this is something I wanted to talk about at the beginning of the show. For people doing non-immigrant visas, these are people who have work permit visas, all that kind of stuff, and they want to go over stamping. They're not scheduling you for an interview, or they'll schedule you for these non-immigrant visas and then just not issue it, or they'll schedule your interview, cancel it, reschedule, cancel, and you're stuck. So I have people in the United States that need to go to a foreign country to do a visa stamping, but I can't, if they're from Europe, South America, Africa, Brazil, Iran, India, China, I can't recommend that they go to their foreign country, because we don't know if they're going to get an interview or come back, or they're going to approve the visa at the interview. It's such a mess. So it's really bad news about visa interviews, but it's always case-by-case specific. I have clients getting green cards and visas, but it depends on the case. user 09 asks, I applied my I-539 last year. That's a change of status or extension status for my visitor visa, but no answer yet. Last year and a half. Can I still stay here? Well, your case is pending. You can stay here, but you should have filed once the 6 months pending happened. And people don't know this because they're not filing with lawyers. But you should have filed an extension B2 right then to hold you over, and then another one at every 6 months that'll bridge you over. But if the case is still pending, you're not accumulating a lawful presence time. You're out of status, and if it's denied, which even if it's approved, you got to leave immediately. But it's not good. But you should just contact a lawyer in private. There's a lot going on there that we need to talk about. Claudia says, I'm an adjustment of status from F2B. That's an adult child of a green card holder that's unmarried. Now I'm on an F1 visa. I get my EAD and Social Security last month. Can I stop going to school and work? Once you filed for adjustment of status, not even with the EAD, once you file for adjustment of status, you're in a period of authorized stay. So you don't need to maintain your F1 status after that. So once you file the adjustment of status, it's okay. But it's generally better to maintain the F1 status. One, if for some reason the F2B is denied, you can always revert back to that status, so it's safer. And something to be careful of, if you drop out of school, some schools might put into the CVIS system that you're dropped out, and then it'll go in the system that you're out of status, and ICE may come after. It's very rare, but they may do that because the systems don't talk with each other to know that you have a green card case pending, and so you might get in some hassle. So I prefer that you stay going to school, but people all the time after filing drop out of school, and it's not problematic. It just there's certain risks involved that are small, but they do exist. Vanessa asks, how can I prove I changed my name on citizenship interview? They didn't give me a paper to prove. Can I use a citizenship form? At the interview, they don't give you anything. It's when you go to the oath ceremony, they'll give you a certificate, a naturalization certificate, and an extra sheet that shows you changed your name. So that's where you should have it then. If they didn't give it to you, they didn't change your name. But at the oath ceremony is where they give you the piece of paper that lawfully shows that you changed your name. If you haven't already, download the Ultimate Marriage Green Card Guide at marriageimmigrationlaw.com. It's free. If you want to schedule a consultation in my office, just email me at info@jqqlaw.com. Briefly describe the issue that you have, because I don't handle every type of case, and then we can set up a time to discuss. There is a consultation fee, but we'll answer that there. Sometimes I quickly answer someone, help them out without needing a consultation. If we can, we'll do that. All right, everybody. God bless. Be safe. We'll see you all next week. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed this educational video. We have a second channel with much more information as well at JQK Immigration Clips. Please check that out. Also, you'll find our social media site has a lot more videos, images, and information about the U.S. immigration process. Please check those out on the various social media websites.